What do you think of some of the government's more unusual measures, like, for example, pubs having to sell €9 worth of food before they can open and this sort of thing? What do you think of that?
I'm glad you asked me that question because I put this at the COVID committee last Wednesday 3 times to NEFID that were there, and they said that NEFID never asked the government, never suggested that a €9 meal because it's a nonsense. And the vast majority of people who want to go to the pub don't want to go for food. If they want to go for food, they go to a restaurant or a takeaway or some other outlet or hotel. The people need to see a clear roadmap forward. I put it to the Taoiseach today quite forcibly that the people were tired, fatigued and quite angry with the mixed messaging, with the whole uncharted course that we're going forward. It's a very trying time now with the schools going back. The publicans, of course, have been walked on. They literally have been destroyed, their businesses. A package was announced which is totally inadequate on Friday night. I asked the Taoiseach for clarity around the pubs. Mr. Glynn told me, Dr. Glynn and Professor Glynn, that he had sympathy for the pubs. They don't want sympathy. They want to be allowed to trade. If they misbehave, there was a licensing coming up in September, in any case, every year, and vast majority of publicans are good employers, good custodians of the law and good to look after the customers, otherwise they won't have them. They want to be allowed to prove themselves. They didn't cause any outbreaks, but they're being victimised here. The kind of a meagre excuse was that with the schools going back this week, we couldn't go ahead with it. It gives some kind of an inkling that it may happen now on the 13th, or they look at opening the 13th. They should be open. It's victimisation of a group. It's an apartheid, really, of a segment of our society which shouldn't be happening. These people pay wages, pay VAT, pay PRSI, pay rates and pay insurance and provide services in many rural areas where there's nothing else, only the rural pub and urban pubs as well. By rural I mean everything outside of Dublin. So they dropped the ball here. The people are weary. The GA got mixed messages. Our churches are again, we're 100 years talking about separating, certainly with 80, separate church and state. Now the state is dictating to the church how many can go to Mass, where you can go to Mass, if you can receive communion. The bishops have been absolutely very silent here, and I'm very surprised with them. We need to have our heritage, our faith, our culture, our work ethic realised and allowed. We have a problem with COVID. We were told today also that this is expected to be here at least until March, April 2021, and possibly the whole year that year. We need to have a working economy dealing and alongside COVID and be able to have people carry on. I'm not diminishing for 1 minute the gravity of a person being seriously ill with COVID or the deaths that we have that have been so sad, but we have to work like this, like we did with other outbreaks over the years. Thankfully this hasn't been a pandemic because you know what a pandemic is. Every second house would have fatalities. We have had fatalities. We're not even clear of the numbers of them there. Were they directly COVID? Were there underlying symptoms? So there's a huge lot of questions here. As I said, people are fatigued. We're all fatigued with it. We need a clear roadmap forward now. We need to allow pubs and other business to open. We need to have disability services up and running because we also asked the question today, it was Deputy Tobin actually asked the question, why was the collating of suicide and self-harm attempts stopped this year in April or May? There's a whole cover up here. I mean, the amount of suicides and mental health problems that be from this are just huge. I have publicans and other businesses who are on the breadline now because they didn't ever expect a penny from the state. Many of them, a pension, didn't get a penny from the state, and all they want to allow is trade. They're not reckless traders. Trade as they always trade, supplying a service, paying their taxes and VAT and giving good employment in a safe condition. They want to show how they can do that again. We need to open up to disability services, as I said. We need a capacity issue for school buses. There's huge issues. The Dawn is thankfully going back next week. And in the middle of it all then we had the abominable golf gate. That really put the cat among the pigeons and was the final nail in the situation for the public of discontent, fatigue, and as I said, just anger.